Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a country standing at the edge of history. A country filled with hope, fear, dreams, and contradictions. A place where a black and white television flickers in the living room, a father comes home with grease on his hands, a mother sets dinner on the table at 6 sharp, and children sit on the floor listening to the news without fully understanding that the world is changing forever. This is the United States, around 1965. And this is the story of how that world slowly transformed into the America of 2026, a nation more powerful, more connected, more advanced, yet more divided and uncertain than ever before. In the mid-1960s, America felt solid, heavy, real. Life moved slower, but it felt grounded. Most Americans lived simple, predictable lives. The economy was strong, especially for the white middle class. One income was often enough. A factory worker, a mechanic, a teacher, or a government employee could buy a house, raise children, and still save money. Jobs were physical. People worked with their hands. Steel mills roared, assembly lines never slept, and offices were filled with paper, typewriters, and ringing phones. Work ended when the whistle blew or the clock struck 5. After that, time belonged to family. Families were large and close. Most households followed the traditional structure. The father worked outside, the mother managed the home, and children obeyed rules without questioning them too much. Dinner was not optional. Everyone sat together, prayed together, and ate together. Conversations happened face to face. There were arguments, but they were personal, not public. Neighbors knew each other. Doors were often unlocked. Children played outside until sunset, riding bicycles, scraping knees, and learning independence without supervision. Technology existed, but it did not control life. Televisions were luxury items at first, then slowly became common. Most homes had only one TV, and it showed only a few channels. Families watched the same programs together. News anchors spoke slowly, seriously, with authority. When something appeared on the news, people believed it. There was no endless scrolling, no comments, no likes, no algorithm deciding what mattered. Radio was powerful. Newspapers were trusted. Information traveled slowly, but it felt heavy and meaningful. Education in the 1960s was strict but focused. Schools taught discipline, patriotism, and respect for authority. Teachers were feared and respected. Students memorized facts, stood when answering questions, and rarely challenged adults. College education was affordable. A summer job could help pay tuition. Universities were becoming centers of ideas, debate, and protest. For the first time, young people began to question the system openly. Because beneath this calm surface, America was burning. The civil rights movement was shaking the foundation of the nation. African Americans were fighting for basic human dignity. Segregation was legal in many places. Black families lived in fear, limited by invisible and visible walls. Protesters marched peacefully while facing police dogs, fire hoses, and hatred. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. spoke words that cut through history. America was being forced to look at itself in the mirror, and it did not like what it saw. At the same time, the Vietnam War was pulling young men into a conflict far away, a war that did not feel clear or justified. Families watched their sons leave and sometimes never return. Televisions brought war into living rooms for the first time. Body counts replaced faces. Trust in government slowly cracked. The idea that America was always right began to fade. Culture was changing too. Music became rebellion. Rock and roll, folk songs, and protest anthems filled the air. Long hair,
genes, and freedom of expression became symbols of resistance. The younger generation rejected the values of their parents. Love, peace, and freedom were not just words, they were weapons against tradition. Still, despite conflict, there was a shared sense of direction. People believed in the future. The moon landing in 1969 felt like proof that America could do anything. Technology was advancing, but it felt magical, not threatening. Computers existed, but they were massive machines used only by governments and scientists. No one imagined carrying a computer in their pocket. Fast forward now. Open your eyes and look at America in 2026. The country is faster, louder, brighter, and heavier in a different way. Life moves at digital speed. The average American wakes up to a smartphone alarm, checks notifications before leaving bed, and enters a world that never sleeps. Information is endless. Truth is blurred. Everyone has a voice, but few are heard. The economy is larger, more complex, and more unequal. Some people live in unimaginable luxury, while others work multiple jobs just to survive. One income is rarely enough. Housing is expensive. Education is costly. Student debt follows people for decades. Jobs are no longer guaranteed for life. Careers change. Skills expire. Machines replace workers. AI writes, designs, analyzes, and decides. Work is no longer physical for many, it is mental, digital, remote. People work from bedrooms, coffee shops, and cars. The line between work and rest has disappeared. Emails arrive at midnight. Messages demand instant replies. Hustle culture praises exhaustion. Productivity defines worth. Technology now controls daily life. Smartphones are extensions of the human body. Social media shapes identity, opinion, and emotion. Algorithms decide what people see, believe, and fear. News is personalized, emotional, and often divisive. Truth competes with lies at the same speed. Artificial intelligence is no longer science fiction. It writes scripts, drives cars, diagnoses diseases, creates art, and predicts behavior. Some see AI as opportunity, others as threat. It promises efficiency but raises questions about purpose. If machines can think, what does it mean to be human? Families have changed. Traditional structures still exist, but they are no longer dominant. Roles are flexible. Women lead companies, governments, and movements. Men question old expectations. Marriage happens later, or not at all. Birth rates decline. Loneliness rises. People are more connected digitally, yet emotionally distant. Children grow up online. Childhood is shorter. Screens replace streets. Safety replaces freedom. Parents worry constantly. Education is digital, interactive, but distracted. Students learn fast, but often shallow. Information is everywhere, wisdom is rare. Freedom in 2026 feels different. People can express themselves openly, yet fear cancellation. Speech is louder but more fragile. Politics is polarized. Trust in institutions is low. Every issue becomes a battlefield. Identity defines loyalty. Compromise feels impossible. Yet, opportunities are everywhere. Anyone can create, publish, and build. A voice from a small town can reach the world. Innovation is constant. Medicine saves lives that once would be lost. People live longer. Travel is easier. Knowledge is accessible. So what did America gain? Speed. Power. Choice. Connection. Innovation. And what did it lose? Simplicity. Trust. Community. Stillness. In 1965, America believed in tomorrow. In 2026, America questions it. Back then, the future felt like progress. Now, it feels like uncertainty. But history is not a straight line. Every generation inherits both strength and struggle. The America of yesterday built the foundation. The America of today carries the responsibility. The question is not which America was better. The question is what kind of America comes next. Because somewhere between black and white televisions and glowing screens, between factory whistles and notification sounds, between handwritten letters and instant messages, lies the true American story, a story of constant change, endless reinvention, and a fragile hope that tomorrow can still be better than today. And that hope, no matter the era, is what has always defined the United States.